Navjot Kaur, and my student ID is 224239864, and this is the video explanation of task D1. So in this task we were basically supposed to analyze a YouTube video from a specific news topic like COVID-19, which was published by four different English news channels, for instance BBC or Fox News. I started by choosing the topic and listed relevant keywords to search for that particular video. Then I used a function named get channel info to extract the channel ID of selected news publisher. So we basically have used Google to extract API, which we have used over here to extract the data of that particular video. So let's start with the video explanation. So these are all the instructions which are given to us. Next, this is the setting part, which contains all the information about the task, like where are the different files stored. Here is the input. We have downloaded, which we have used different libraries which we have imported and have mentioned over here. So all the libraries that we have used are imported over here. Then this code prepares video and comments data by converting date, adding time-based columns, and transforming video into seconds. It then merges the video and comments data for the analysis, creating ready-to-use data frames. Okay, so here in E part we were supposed to attempt any two of the following questions, and we were supposed to write a Python code. So in this part we need to calculate the total number of views, likes, and comment for video published by different news channels. We then created a visualization with three subplots, one for the total views, one for likes, and the third one for the total number of comments, comparing these three matrices across the different channels. Each subplot will have appropriate labels and title. Finally, at the end, we analyze the visualization. This one to discuss the pattern and make all the observations, which I have written over here. So the code goes like the first one. Okay, print column. I've started. So this line prints the name of all the columns in the video. Video data frame. It is useful for verifying the columns that we need. Then this part, this dictionary maps the more um, uh, names to actual column names in the data frame. This makes the code easier to read and modify if the column names changes. This part is it groups the data by channel ID and resets the index of resulting data frame so that channel ID becomes a regular column, making it easier to plot. Okay, so this line over here, it creates a figure with three subplots arranged in a single row, and this flag size 19, this sets the size of overall figure into 19 inches of width and makes the height like 7 inches tall. Okay, so next is this part. The x-axis represent different news channel and the y-axis represents the total number of views on each channel. Data channel total, this the data comes from the channel total data frame. This is indicated over here. Then this part ax, this specifies that this plot should be placed in the first subplot, which is the leftmost. Then here we have set the title, total number of views by the publisher, which we can observe in our visualization. So we have set title of all three of them, which is total number of publishers, total number of likes by publishers, and total number of comments by publishers. So the first of all we have set the title. Then comes the next part, which is we have set the x-axis with the channel id, which is represented over there. For so in all three cases, the x-axis represents the channel id, y-axis represents the total number of views, likes and comments respectively. So x and y-axis we have displayed it. And over here uh, okay, so in x-axis we have made the rotation of 90 degree, which means the channel id which is written over here is written at the angle of 90 degree. I was not able to adjust all of them at one at the proper vertical level, so I have made the rotation and set it to 90 degree. We can obviously change different angles as per our choice. So this is basically how we are going to represent our visualizations, and after the final result we can observe the different observations which I have mentioned over here. So this was the second question. Then I have attempted the third part. So in this part uh, so we need to analyze how the number of comments on YouTube video has changed over time, focusing on COVID-19 related content. We have created time series visualization that shows the trend in comments over specific period. On this plot, we allocate at least three major COVID-19 events, which were like when the COVID-19 pandemic declaration was done. Second one was done when the first vaccine was taken out, and the third one was the variant. So this was how we did it. And finally we analyzed the plot to see if the relationship between these events have changed in the number of comments, discussing any pattern or observation that we have noticed. So this is the code. So we set a plot with specific size using pt dot subplot flag size. So we have basically made the size, we have fixed the size. Then we convert comment date to weekly period and group the data by week to count the number of comments per week. Yes, so plot the weekly number of comments as the line graph with the marker, and allocate events at the vertical red dash lines, and label for major COVID-19 events like pandemic start, first vaccine, variant. Then over here set the plot title, X and Y labels, enable grid lines, and display the plot with adjusted layout. So here I have also added some spaces which makes the visualization uh, over here much better to read. So this is the visualization which shows like how these three events were actually related. So the basic idea of adding space was just to make sure that we can all read this visualization easily. And again, the observation are written over here, all the three observations. Okay, so in the E2 part we were supposed to attempt any one question. So I've attempted the third one. So in this question we need to analyze how the total number of comments per news channel has changed over the month. So over here we basically started by seeing the comment data by months and channel, and removed any outliers to focus on the typical trends. Then we created a visualization to show how comments have varied over time for each channel. Finally, at last, we analyzed the plot to identify pattern and write all the changes that we have observed. So this is the visualization that I've got from all four different news channels at different time. Okay, so first of all, in this code we prepared the data in which we converted video published date to a date time format and extracted year and month. Then we sum up then we have summed up the total number of comments for each channel per month. Then we remove outliers and calculated the range to find and filter out unusual spikes and drop in comment counts. Over here we have calculated the interquartile range to find and filter out the unusual spikes and drop in comments. Then we have created a, a, a table which organizes the data into table where rows represents month, column represents channel, and value represents total comments. Over here the plot data create